What is going on, y'all? Today we're going to take a look at interview lighting for high profile individuals. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share some of the interview shots themselves, and you can see how we got there and what the final product is going to look like. All right, let's jump in. Now, this will be the case when we have time to set up the lighting properly. Of course, we've looked in this series about interviewing with natural light, and today we're going to look at something a bit more thought out. So this will be the kind of lighting we're after when we're interviewing a head of state, a political figure, an actor, actress. Here's an example of what our final setup's going to look like, and we're going to talk into detail about how we got there. This was a setup for an interview with the presidential candidate in Thailand. For interviews like this, I like to also create lighting diagrams. Here's the example of the lighting diagram I created for this interview. And I like to share that amongst the team so that once we get onto site, everyone knows what they're doing, where they're going to set up tripods and stands before we get everything dialed in. For this particular interview, we were given pictures of the location where it was going to be shot. And we know that we want to set up everything so that as soon as a person comes in, they can sit down and start the interview, because high profile people like this, they don't have time to wait around for the lighting to be set up in this way. Their schedules are very tight. So everything needs to be set up and locked down so a person can just come in, sit down, and start the interview. So in this location, we had bright windows on both sides. I love to be able to control the light more if there's a way to black out all the windows and we are in control of all the lighting. In this case, we're not. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring down all the blinds to control as much of the light as possible. And if you can see from the diagram, I set up a key light for each subject. And this is coming from the side of the window. So I like to create an environment where the lighting doesn't look unnatural. It looks like it's from the scene. It just brightens up the subject more and gives a little bit more sparkle to the eye. But in general, the atmosphere is looking natural. So the atmosphere is looking like it could just be naturally lit. So for this interview, we're using Aperture 300D Mark IIs with light domes, and I'm going to put a description down below so you can look at what all this gear is. So we have those for the key light, and I've also decided to add a hair light for each person, for the interview and the interviewee. If you've looked at other videos in the series, we're going to be shooting into the shadows. So our tripod is going to be on the opposite side of our lighting for both subjects. This is going to give you a bit of depth to where the shadow and the light is going to be hitting the face. Now I'm going to have two cameras, and this is part of our diagram. I'm going to have two cameras on the interviewee, and I'm going to have one camera facing back at the interviewer. Now, if you're one person, you're going to control all these three cameras. One of the things I need to do is I need to be seeing that the opposite camera that I cannot see that's far away from me is always going to be running and always keeping in focus. So I use a monitor just in the back, and here's what that looks like. And you're going to see that in the shot of the setup. So this is an Atomos Shinobi. I'll keep that in the description also so you can take a look at it. So the reason I'm keeping a monitor there is to be able to see the camera that's on the opposite side of me. And then I can also physically handle the two cameras that are on my side of the interview that's taking place. Now I'm going to share the final shots of what this kind of lighting setup is going to look like. And this is the kind of feel we're looking. We're looking for a naturally lit environment. And everything's just looking clean, nice and soft, nothing too harsh coming out, not harsh shadows. And this is what we're really looking for. So that's a breakdown of the lighting for these kind of interviews. I hope it brought you some insight and some value. As always, I'm rooting for everybody, for all of us to get better together. If you have any questions, please leave them in the description. And I'd appreciate if you subscribe or share this to any of your friends who are in the industry or looking to get into this industry of production. All right, thanks a lot, y'all. Have a good day.